In the 1988 film They Live, George Nada, an unemployed drifter from Colorado, discovers special glasses in a church that unveils the true identity of aliens covertly manipulating Earth's inhabitants. Seeking a better life, Nada ventures to Los Angeles, where he faces joblessness due to widespread closures in his hometown. However, his efforts at a job center and a lack of experience thwart his employment prospects. While wandering the city, he encounters a passionate preacher who reveals a disturbing truth. Demons influence the ruling class, manipulating ordinary people. Urging awakening and resistance, the preacher sparks a journey against the control of Earth's elites. Spotting a police car, Nada opts to continue walking. En route, he observes a mesmerized man fixated on a meaningless TV advertisement behind a store glass. Unperturbed, Nada moves forward. Seeking shelter, he discovers a temporary homeless center. Next door, a woman captivated by a TV show about eternal youth absorbs herself into narcissistic fantasies. Weary, George reclines, lost in contemplation. The next day, he pursued work at a construction site, initially facing rejection due to union constraints. With persuasive determination, Nada secures the job, joining others in toil. Employment settled, but payment deferred. He faces another night without a place to stay. Observing Nada's frustration, worker Frank extends a gesture of goodwill, proposing a place for sustenance and a warm shower. Initially wary, Nada eventually agrees, forging a bond during their conversation. Frank leads him to a camp where diverse, fortune-seeking locals foster a supportive community. George, welcomed warmly, receives a task from Gilbert to enhance the camp's comfort. Lunchtime arrives, presenting George with a generous, hearty meal. Amidst bites, Frank shares his life story. Akin to George, he relocated for employment, leaving his family in a struggling Detroit. Fueled by resentment towards the profit-driven local elite, Frank contemplates drastic measures if more factories close. Frank, foreseeing a survival struggle for the lower classes, warns George of potential competition for success. Undeterred, George remains optimistic and determined to rebuild his life through hard work. In the evening, while exploring the camp, Nada witnesses locals captivated by a TV commercial on false nails. Suddenly, the broadcast shifts to an anxious man revealing an artificially constructed reality. He discloses that unknown creatures send signals, inducing a trance and suppressing critical thinking, leading to growing poverty and racial injustice. Dismissing the warning, the residents complain of headaches. George observes a blind priest echoing the broadcast's words, prompting Gilbert's immediate response. The enigmatic revelation hangs in the air. Unable to hear their argument, George observes Gilbert and the old man's hurried departure towards the camp's church, raising suspicions of a hidden agenda. The next morning, Nada queries Gilbert about the nighttime excursion to the church. Gilbert explains its communal kitchen for the homeless and his involvement in the choir. As the mysterious broadcast reappears, emphasizing the need to halt the hypnotic signal, relief washes over residents when it switches back to a baseball game. Anxious, Gilbert rushes to the church again, prompting George to follow. Entering, he hears the choir, confident his presence won't arouse suspicion amidst the melodic refuge. Inside the church, George uncovers a clandestine chemical mini-laboratory and a cryptic inscription proclaiming, "They live. We sleep." A tape recorder blares choir singing, masking the secret meeting's noise. Behind a wall, Gilbert and others attempt to hack a channel, aiming to extend their broadcast and influence more minds. Eavesdropping, George stumbles upon a secret vault, laden with boxes, but decides to postpone exploration. Closing the vault, he encounters the blind priest who, recognizing George as a laborer, swiftly delves into talk of revolution. Overwhelmed, George hastily exits the church, unsettled by the unfolding revelations. The preacher's prediction lingers as a police helicopter appears, unsettling the meeting attendees. George, armed with borrowed binoculars, closely monitors the church. Gilbert and associates transport boxes to a car, capturing George's attention until interrupted by Frank. Yet George's revelations, Frank, avoiding trouble, advises non-interference. The car departs, leaving George to watch an uneventful day unfold. In the evening, police surround the camp and church, creating confusion among residents. Abruptly, bulldozers dismantle tents and trailers, inducing panic. George, horrified, witnesses the police ruthlessly disrupt the lives of innocent people, a chaotic scene of destruction and despair. Law enforcement corners and brutalizes the priest and TV preacher, leaving them lifeless. Those unable to escape suffer a similar fate. George, powerless to aid the captured, rescues a terrified teenager. Fleeing, they find refuge on the top floor of a dilapidated church. Wandering through corridors, they discover survivors hiding in a room. Confused about the raid, they spend a night in concealment. Morning reveals the camp's devastation, but a miraculously functioning TV airs humorous ads. George, undeterred, investigates the church's secret vault, finding the provocative inscription covered during the prior night's raid. Amidst the chaos, questions linger in the aftermath of a harrowing ordeal. George discovers a surviving box in the pantry, resembling the ones Gilbert hastily took. As a patrol car passes the church, he hides from law enforcement. In a secure spot, George opens the box, dismayed by its contents. Dozens of sunglasses. He conceals the box in a trash can, taking one pair of glasses. Walking through the city, he decides to wear them, and the world transforms into black and white. The once familiar scenery now bears manipulative phrases on billboards. Obey, marry, breed, consume, buy, don't think, and watch TV. Through the glasses, people reveal their true, monstrous nature, unmasking the hidden reality. George repeatedly dons and removes the sunglasses, scrutinizing the man before him for any alien resemblance. The strange man eyes him suspiciously, but refrains from action. Donning the glasses once more, George reads, "This is your God," on banknotes, and discovers hypnotic transmitters at every traffic light, repeating the command, "Sleep." Noticing the diverse responses of ordinary humans to those appearing as alien monsters, he realizes societal success favors the latter. In a supermarket, a politician's TV speech reveals an alien beneath his facade, eliciting hysterical laughter from George. Through the glasses, even fellow shoppers resemble monsters, prompting George's candid, albeit humorous, reactions. Attempting to warn the oblivious crowd, he inadvertently exposes his secret. There's a monstrous being among them. The lady discreetly alerts fellow extraterrestrials through her wristwatch walkie-talkie, divulging his unique ability to unveil their true forms. As the alien horde converges, George flees in terror. Surrounded on the street by curious extraterrestrials, he insults a disguised monster woman unknowingly. Fake police swiftly apprehend him, demanding the origin of his revealing glasses. Unyielding, George resists their coercion, overpowering them and seizing their weapons. Evading incoming police, armed George seeks refuge in a bank, only to discover that half the patrons are aliens in disguise. Fueled by adrenaline, the man unleashes gunfire on aliens disguised as humans, yet one eludes him, summoning more pseudo-police before vanishing. Evading pursuit, George exits the bank, spots a tracking drone, and swiftly disables it. Seeking refuge in a closed parking lot, he encounters Holly, ensuring her humanity and coercively making her guide him to safety. Exhausted at her house, George elucidates his mission, apologizing for the disruption. He reveals a world threatened by malevolent beings controlling all. Urging Holly to wear the sunglasses, she dismisses his claims skeptically. As he wearily closes his eyes, George vigilantly monitors her every move. Once composed, George inquires about his captive's occupation. Holly discloses her role as a television assistant director, prompting George to recall the alien's signal transmission through TV. Seizing an opportunity, Holly smashes a bottle on his head and hurls him out the window. Surviving the fall but losing his crucial sunglasses, George, now hunted, seeks refuge under a bridge. Holly reports the incident to the police, summoning them to her location. George, shunned by friend Frank due to a recent shooting spree, pleads for assistance against the disguised aliens. Disbelieving, Frank rejects George's claims, forcing him to search for the hidden sunglasses, only to find empty trash cans. Spotting a nearby garbage truck, George clambers into the back, scavenging for surviving pairs of glasses. His trash escapade inadvertently involves Frank, who, after witnessing the ordeal, parts with his earnings, refusing further assistance. Although George's persistent plea for Frank to wear the glasses and perceive the truth, his friend dismisses him as deranged. Frustrated, George resorts to violence, sparking a fierce brawl. Overpowering Frank, George forces the glasses onto him, revealing the shocking reality. Seeking refuge in a motel, the friends strategize. George unveils a childhood marred by poverty and abuse, blaming the aliens for exploiting societal hatred. Driven by revenge, he plots against the extraterrestrial manipulators. Morning arrives, and the sunglass-clad friends rendezvous with Gilbert at the motel. He invites them to a clandestine gathering of like-minded individuals set for the evening. At the undisclosed location, they exchange sunglasses for advanced lenses, securing enhanced vision. Gilbert unveils the unsettling truth. Aliens recruit humans for promised wealth, treating Earth as a mere resource hub for their third world project. Global calamities are orchestrated for their benefit. As Earth nears depletion, they plan to exploit new planets. A resistance member reveals an alien watch to Frank, who decides to claim it. In spite of advantages, Gilbert acknowledges the need for more manpower in their fight against the extraterrestrial invaders. Despite the belligerent group's insistence on immediate action, Gilbert advocates for a strategic approach. He proposes locating the signal source to disrupt the trance. Holly, appearing in the room, nervously offers a clue. Apologizing for her earlier actions, she fidgets with George's sunglasses. The police suddenly storms in, opening fire on the resistance. Most members perish during the escape, but George, Frank, and Holly emerge unscathed. Armed, they retaliate and seek refuge in a street alley. George, driven to find Holly, is thwarted by Frank, who attempts to decipher the alien watch for communication interception. Instead, he unwittingly activates a portal. With the police closing in, the trio leaps into the portal, arriving in an underground alien base with inscriptions in an unknown language. Navigating a corridor, the friends chance upon an alien checkpoint where disguised creatures, posing as military personnel, celebrate the alleged success of eradicating a terrorist group. Seizing the opportunity, Frank and George follow the sounds of a gala banquet. A suited man extols the virtues of the alien alliance, revealing plans for total Earth domination and promising elite benefits. He presents statistics, eliciting universal delight. Mistaken for recruits, the friends join a former camp resident who joined the invaders. Guided to an alien airport, they witness human-form aliens departing for other planets. Behind a television studio's scenes, they uncover the control center, where a satellite transmits a signal worldwide and enslaving ordinary human consciousness. George employs flattery to manipulate their guide into entering the television studio. Although the guide agrees, guards block their path without a pass. Opting for force, the friends shoot the aliens, defying their former acquaintances' plea to join the enslaved planet's new authority. A traitorous soldier intrudes, and the turncoat seizes the opportunity to teleport. Armed, the friends breach the studio, reaching the main office where humans serve the aliens. George interrogates them for Holly's whereabouts, discovering the hypnotic signal on the roof. Ascending, they encounter Holly, survive, and engage in a showdown with the aliens on the top floor, firing defiantly against the extraterrestrial oppressors. Holly, revealed as a traitor, ruthlessly guns down Frank before ascending to the rooftop. Undeterred, George locates a satellite dish transmitting the alien signal and prepares to destroy it. Sneaking up, Holly urges surrender at gunpoint, but George resists, shooting her instead. With the dish obliterated, helicopters assail George, who defiantly flips them off as he escapes. Breaking the signal, humanity awakens to the reality that aliens have covertly infiltrated society, appearing in TV shows, frequenting establishments, acting in films, and forming relationships. A Colorado drifter's actions have roused the world from a prolonged slumber, exposing the hidden truth.